20 unique granny square crochet patterns, complete guide for all skill levels. Crochet granny squares are versatile motifs that can be used to create blankets, garments, accessories, and more. There are numerous variations of granny squares, each offering different styles, patterns, and textures. Below is a list of popular types of crochet granny squares, along with some details. 1. Traditional granny square. This is the most classic granny square pattern, featuring clusters of 3 double crochets, US terms, separated by chain spaces. It typically has a hole in the center, and the square grows outward and rounds. Blankets, scarves, pillows. 2. Solid granny square. A variation where the center of the square is solid, with no gaps between the stitches. The entire square is worked with double crochet stitches, with increases at the corners. More structured projects, coasters, or bags. 3. Sunburst granny square. This square starts with a circular center that looks like a sunburst, often achieved with puff or cluster stitches. It is later squared off with traditional granny techniques. Decorative projects like bags or afghans. 4. Circle in a square granny. A square that begins with a circular center, often filled with various stitches like single, double, or half double crochet, before being squared off in the later rounds. Blankets, cushion covers, and colorful projects. 5. Flower granny square. The center of this square is a crocheted flower, typically in 3D form, that is later surrounded by a square base. Flowers can vary from simple to elaborate designs. Garments, blankets, or decorative pieces. 6. Chevron granny square. This square incorporates a chevron, zigzag, design, combining granny square techniques with the popular chevron pattern for a modern twist. Modern blankets, scarves, or bags. 7. Lacy granny square. A lightweight, airy version of the traditional granny square. It uses chain stitches and openwork to create a lacy effect. Shawls, summer tops, or decorative wraps. 8. Hexagon granny square. Instead of a traditional square shape, this motif is worked into a hexagon. It starts like a granny square but has 6 corners instead of 4. Blankets, tablecloths, or decorative accessories. 9. Filet crochet granny square. This square uses filet crochet techniques, creating open spaces and solid blocks that form geometric or pictorial patterns. LNTER mediate to advanced. Wall hangings, curtains, or delicate blankets. 10. Granny star square. A square with a star motif in the center. The star is typically made of chain spaces or clusters of stitches and is surrounded by a granny square border. Decorative pieces, blankets, or children's projects. 11. Mitered granny square. Worked diagonally from one corner to the opposite corner. It forms a triangle at first and then expands into a square shape. Blankets, shawls, or unique textile projects. 12. Textured granny square. Features textured stitches like baubles, popcorns, or post stitches, which add depth and dimension to the square. Cushions, home decor, or tactile projects. 13. Corner-to-corner granny square. This square is worked diagonally, starting at one corner and ending at the opposite corner. It uses clusters of stitches, similar to the traditional granny square. Blankets, scarves, or larger projects. 14. Heart granny square. A square with a heart motif in the center, often made with different colored yarn for contrast. Valentine's Day projects, baby blankets, or accessories. 15. Bavarian granny square. This is an intricate version of the granny square that involves layers of raised, overlapping stitches to create a textured, diamond-like effect. Complex blankets, pillows, or wall art. 16. Crochet granny square with applique. A traditional or solid granny square with additional appliques, such as crocheted flowers, animals, or other shapes, sewn onto the surface. decorative throws, children's blankets, or customized projects. 17. Join as you go granny square. Instead of joining squares with sewing or slip stitches at the end, each square is joined to the previous ones as you work the final round. Seamless blankets, afghans, or larger crochet projects. 18. Tunisian crochet granny square. Uses Tunisian crochet techniques, which combine elements of knitting and crochet, to create a unique, dense square. Warm blankets, rugs, or textured projects. 19. Ripple granny square. A ripple or wave pattern is incorporated into the granny square, giving it a dynamic, flowing design. Retro-style blankets, throws, or fashion accessories. 20. Diagonal granny square. Worked diagonally, from one corner to another, this square has an interesting construction and can vary in texture and stitch style. Blankets, afghans, and unique decor. Each of these granny square variations can be customized with different color combinations, stitch types, and yarns, allowing for endless creative possibilities.